term unmitigated disaster gets thrown around a lot, but I suppose what happened last episode sort of qualifies. So, we're going to go back to our set of quests, and this time we'll start with thermal series. Now I've already got a lot of power through Mekanism, so there won't be a whole lot done with power generation in thermal series. However, the machines of thermal series are unique in sort of a similar way to how the machines in Mekanism are unique. Thermal series has its own set of metals and minerals and materials and all that. But a lot of these machines have Mechanism equivalents, except for the induction smelter. That, I think, is unique. And the pulverizer acts in a unique manner. When we get all this basic stuff done, because sometimes it helps to have a backup for something. Like if you're smelting something in the Elite Smelting Factory, and you want to smelt something else at the same time, how else will you do that how will you do that if you don't have a second smelting mechanism? Let me just go back here and check for a minute if I have any room in the machine room. It looks like I got a couple of slots. The problem with this setup really is how it's set up. There's not a whole lot of... There's room overhead and underhead, well, above and below the main line of machines here, but I don't know, I suppose I could put them somewhere else. Like, for example, here, this is where I put the miscellaneous machines in Mekanism. Yeah, that was a lot of M's, wasn't it? And over here, that's strictly the production line for radioactive materials. I have some room here, but it'll be kind of a tight squeeze. But I suppose I could extend things a little, starting from here. The problem then would be getting, well, I don't know, we might not need to get to this pressurized reaction chamber. It really depends on how much high-density polyethylene we'll want to make. So let me just go grab some advanced universal cables. I don't have that many of, do I? And basic universal cables, I've got those. And advanced universal cables are easy enough to come by. I'll just throw some iron in here. And there we go. Much better. I don't know why that didn't stack automatically. Alright, so I'm going to go back down here for maybe I ought to put a railing on that staircase. So I'm going to need tin, which I have. And I'm going to need glass, which I also have. And I'm going to need iron, which I have a lot of. And whatever I need that I don't have, I can always get more of because of the digital miner. There is no version of that in thermal series. Anyway, so these machines start with machine frames. Oh, but I need to make tin gears. I forgot about that. But we do have a multi-servo press with a gear-working die. I think that's how you do that. So if I were to throw in 4 of these tin ingots, I get a gear. without having to add that extra iron nugget. I think I did go over this, but it bears repeating under these circumstances. What's it like out there? Is it day yet? Oh wait, no. I'm thinking I need to get clay, but I might already have some stowed away somewhere. Yeah, I thought I had some. I'll just smelt this. And we need 2 copper gears. And wait, what was that thing at the top of the redstone furnace? Oh yeah, redstone. That's another thing. It's a basic part of thermal series machines. It's this, well, I can use the one on the sequential fabricator. These flux coils. It used to be that there were actually different kinds of flux coils. Transmission coils, reception coils, and conductance coils. One sent energy, one received energy, and the last one both sent and received energy, I think. Where's my copper? Here we go. So making bricks into brick blocks. And oh, here it is. Okay, and I might as well put that next to the smelting factory here. Let it charge up a bit. My reward is... yeah. You know, the thing about these grenades is that they don't really... Oh, I better pick that up later. The thing about these grenades is that they don't really work as in defense. They... you can fling them and grow plants, you can fling them and mine. This, I'm not even sure what it does. I don't even remember whether I went over this already or not. Yeah. But the point is grenade. I'm not going to say it's a misnomer, but it's not what you think of when you think of grenades. What is this? Oh, it's some kind of magic thing. Yeah, I get 2 different kinds of rewards out of that. So, about these quests I accidentally completed. I can accidentally complete other quests, too. That's the thing about doing this. You run the risk of having your players complete quests by accident, using the rewards from other quests. I need room and I don't have it. Now, these things I've got in the quests are, they're upgrades. Like the auxiliary process sieve. That's for the pulverizer. It increases non-primary output production. It costs energy, but you get secondary outputs. Or this thing stores more energy and works faster, I think. That seems to be another issue here. You get like a ton of different things in these rewards. The photocell infuser I'm not entirely familiar with. Let's see if I can milk this a little bit more. Apparently not. Oh well. Good while it lasted, I guess. Saves a lot of tedium, perhaps. Maybe I'm being a little too rough here. Also, netherbrick is what you get when you smelt netherrack. But I've never had the need to. Netherrack is weak, though. Sometimes you can literally cut through it like a hot knife through butter, if you'll excuse the cliche. Anyway, so we've got 2 other things to do, and we both have mechanism versions of them. The sequential fabricator, for example, requires it requires a crafting table. Well, I have those to spare, but at the same time, I don't want to lose the one I have here in case I have to, or the one I have up in the machine room in case I have to craft something in either of those locations. So I'm going to make a totally new one here. Yep. Yeah, right like that. And I need copper gears. And then the other thing was the sawmill, which also needs copper gears, and probably takes, if not cobblestone, then stone. There's so many varieties of stone right now. It's kind of hard to tell whether one of those is cobblestone or actual stone. Granite. You know what? Forget that whole thing. It looks like it's regular stone, though. But it also takes... No, it's down here. It also takes granite. Like regular granite. So I can use that instead. So let me go back up here and create... And, punch out the gears that we're going to be needing... That we're going to need. And we'll make the sequential fabricator first, because the sawmill requires a saw blade, which is kind of a unique thing. It's specific to one machine. Alright, so sawmill, saw blade, there. And make the sawmill there. Now they both have equivalent versions in Mekanism, so I'm going to stick them nearby. The formulaic assembler is the Mekanism alternate to the sequential fabricator. But sequential fabricator is easier to pronounce than formulaic assemblicator. Assemblicator isn't even a word. I must have gotten those extra machine frames as rewards. And speaking of rewards, let's go down here and claim the rewards for these machines. Okay, nothing new under the sun here. There's probably a specific reward pool, and it doesn't have everything, which is not a bad thing. After all, if it did, they hit the... Well, you saw how many quests were made unnecessary. What if they were all made unnecessary? So, let's talk farming for a second. Apparently this doesn't register with that particular quest. Let me see if I have any saplings here. I've got an eerie feeling that no, they wouldn't be here. I got an eerie feeling that I used them all. I always replant. And because of that, in order to get a sampling, I'm going to have to cut a tree down. Speaking of trees, have a look at my end plant. Freaky looking thing, isn't it? There we go. And I'll just replant that right there. So what do we have? Oh, well, I'll get this Farmer's Delight reward first. There are some things which... I'm going to put some of these in the variety food section. You know, it's not exactly common stuff, is it? You know, interestingly enough, this plate of honey glazed ham is it's from Farmer's Delight, but you don't exactly make it as a recipe. What you do is you make the actual honey glazed ham itself, and then you use like a bowl on it to make a plate of honey glazed ham. But there's no quests available. Speaking of quests, let's talk about some of this one thing I got as a reward for a quest that I can use to complete another quest. The Phytosoil Infuser. Apparently you can use energy to speed up plant growth. If I ever build a farm, maybe I'll take that into account. And you get some phytosoil as a reward. The phytosoil infuser does just this. Applying energy to phytosoil at the same level as the device, as well as to soil one block above or below. You can expand the radius of effect. I don't know whether I'd want to do that, but I guess if this pack had farming quests in it, stuff where you had to make food, then I'd consider it an advantage. And in some other mod packs, that's actually a thing. And, interesting. Why would I want to catch things from the deep? I wonder if this is some kind of foreshadowing. But the rest of these, we haven't quite run into yet. So, the Aquatic Entangler. I don't know who among us has fished in Minecraft. I have. And you just sort of hang around there until you maybe catch a fish? Well, while many find fishing to be a calm, relaxing pastime, others find it, well, tedious. To those, the Aquatic Entangler is the answer to obtaining fish and other goodies from the seas. So you place a device, fishing a pool of water, its working area is out in front of it. Bait is no requirement, but it'll certainly help. By default, it captures the fish from a fishing loot table without the treasure or junk tables. And there's also junk nets, which, if you want to catch an old boot, I suppose you could. Aquachow will catch, well, fish, and benthic Aquachow will catch apparently spudge prismarine. Nautilus shells, tridents? Ooh, forget what I said earlier. I might actually want to use this in case I need prismarine for something. I don't know what I need it for, but... Okay, so the Aquatic Entangler, let's see. I need a copper gear, a redstone servo, and a fishing rod. Okay, the copper gear... Or no, the redstone servo is the... is Thermal Series' equivalent... to the machine frame for devices that don't use power. Where did I get this stick from? Actually, strike that. I need sticks. Because I need them to make a fishing rod. It's one of the vanilla devices that I don't really use often. Back up here to make the copper gear. There we go. And there. One Aquatic Entangler. And you get a junk net, a rare Thermal Series loot box, and some Aquachow. But before I start claiming stuff in quests, what about this? A hive hopper. The way you harvest honey is to build a campfire and put it under a bee nest. Now, it used to be you could put a torch under there, but that doesn't work anymore. The thing is, well, using smoke to capture honey knocks the bees out and allows the beekeeper to collect honey in real life. But these are flow hives. They're a more recent invention that allows easier harvesting of honey without messing with the bees. Okay. So if I wanted honey, I could place this thing below a beehive. I'm pretty sure I can follow a beehive. I can find a beehive somewhere. To find a beehive, all I'd really need to do is iron gears. All I'd really need to do is follow the bees. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it is indeed the case. If you run into a bee in the wild in this game, you can follow it, and it'll go to the flowers it pollinates, and then it'll eventually return to its original nest. The arboreal extractor. Nothing as a cost source of energy isn't always immediately obvious. The arboreal extractor uses a combination of gravity and the tree's own capillary action to collect the fluids available in the tree. It's a non-destructive process, unlike the one in Industrial Foregoing, I think, but a living tree is required. Well, I got plenty of them. Supplying some bone meal or other fertilizer can help replenish the tree's reserves faster, thus boosting production. Now, this, I'm pretty sure, is going to be important. There are some things later on which require latex, and I think this is how you get it. But don't quote me on it. I'm just this is just guesswork here. And I'm out of iron for the time being, but I got plenty downstairs. So is that the arb or yeah, there it is. Yeah, this I'm pretty sure I'm going to need. And the batch composter. You can compost waste food into compost. I don't know whether I'm going to need compost or not. That remains to be seen. But this is one of those where the reward is actually a food item. There are several food items. As opposed to a thing from the mod itself. But you need a regular composter, which apparently is part of vanilla Minecraft. I did not know this. It seems I've been away from the vanilla game for a very, very long time. Once you go modded, you don't really want to go back. And I've been there since the days of back in like 1.6.4 or whatever it was, when a fellow, when a guy named Bone Canoe 86, who I think I mentioned him before, but I suppose he's worth mentioning again. Bone Canoe 86 introduced me to modded Minecraft, even though I introduced him to the regular Minecraft. And since then, I mean, regular Minecraft doesn't have much in it, but Minecraft, I suppose, is not a game. It is a gaming platform, which just happens to have a game in it. I'm going to see if I can get any use out of the arboreal extractor, but let me just claim some rewards first. Let's see if I have any room. You know, I guess this might sound a weird reason for starting a farm, but I have all these seeds here, and I can really free up some space if I plant them. Okay, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah. And the rest of these... Maybe I'll plant another giant jungle tree. Get some honeycomb. Alright. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is on the floor, I know. But I can keep freeing up space. How did they know the way out over there? Yeah. Put this junk knit here. Aqua chow. Fluid cells, hardened frames. I can't believe I filled this thing up. Fortunately, in the last dungeon raid, I was able to get my hands on some more backpacks, which I have over in the in that one building. Ah, thought I had some room in there. Now, can I get more than three units of bone meal out of a bone with the equipment I have right now? Yeah, I can if I use a pulverizer. But the problem is I got enough bones to make a skeleton army. Heh, nice try. Anywho, yeah, it's dark out. Wandering around in the dark is an iffy idea. Especially when the skeletons are armed with so many high caliber arrows. But I should be sufficiently far enough from anyone. I'm going to try this trick again. I know it worked before, but it's worth doing a second time. There we go. Ha! Look at that. Another giant jungle tree. Ooh, and it's sunrise too.